Here we come, blue and white, and we're looking good. You'll be in for a fight, and we fight pretty good. Getting goals is our job, and we get goals good. Looking good, we are Carlisle United.
Carlisle United, the team that's on the ball. Carlisle United, the team for one and all. You're looking good, and we're with you all the way. You'll hear us singing every time you play.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Brunton Bugle, a podcast focusing on the trials and tribulations of Carlisle United Football Club. From Carl Higgs to Warren Hawke and Chris Freestone to Paul Fitzpatrick, we've got it covered. This is episode 28 and today we're going to be looking back at the midweek win over Mansfield Town at Brunton Park, looking ahead to what is going to be a really big clash against a fellow promotion contender, Forest Green Rovers, this weekend, and also looking what ex-United players have been getting up to and a little bit of news thrown in as well. I'm joined as ever by one of my regular co-hosts, and today it's Dan McLennan. Dan, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad, yeah. I'm guessing you can tell the link. There's one of those players has not played Forest Green Rovers. Can you guess which one?
I would have to say Paul Fitzpatrick.
Incorrect.
Ooh,
Warren Hawke. Warren
yeah,
Hawke is. Yeah.
I knew Freestone and Higgs had.
Yeah. Freestone, I think, only played one game for them, I think, towards the end of his career.
Warren Hawke spent most of his career at Berwick in the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Interesting one, isn't he? Freestone, that he sort of came in on loan from Middlesbrough, didn't he, when we were doing quite well, and he scored a few goals, but he wasn't very well liked, was he?
No, he just didn't settle, sort of thing, did he? You know,
very interesting one anyway.
Yeah.
All right, well, we haven't got much time today, so let's get straight into it, shall we? So news roundup. There's only a couple of bits of news today. First up, no reserves run out for Chedwin. So, as we reported in the last episode, trialist Chedwin Scott was due to feature for United in the reserve game versus Fleetwood at Penrith on Wednesday, but as we both feared, the game was called off due to a waterlogged pitch. And I think Chris Beech explained, didn't he, Dan, that they're trying to protect the main pitch at the moment, aren't they, with so many games coming thick and fast, so they opted not to switch it to Brunton Park, and Fleetwood also said that they really couldn't hold it as well because their training pitches were struggling, so just one of those ones, isn't it? There's due to be another game played, I think, against Rochdale next week. Is it the same competition, possibly?
Yeah, if it's the same competition, and I'm pretty sure it's scheduled for Penrith again, so hopefully a bit of dry weather.
You'd hope so. If not, I mean, you'd hope maybe they'd switch this one to Brunton Park, maybe, or maybe they do want to protect it for the Bolton game, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there you go.
But if you think about it, we've only got the Bolton game.
True, for a while, actually.
And then we're away till the 9th, aren't we?
Yeah,
so
a nice little break in terms of home games there. So yeah, he didn't get that planned run out. Hopefully he's going to get a run out next week. But he did actually score for his parent club, if you call it that, his actual club, Hebburn, again the other night, didn't he? He just seems to be scoring for fun. So, and there's rumours that
Sunderland are sniffing now. So it'd be good if we can get him to have a game and sort of make a decision, because it'd be typical Carlisle United. We'll either sign him and he'll do nothing, or we won't sign him, he'll go to Sunderland and score 15.
Yeah, it'd just be sod's law, wasn't it? Absolutely typical. The only other bit of news is bit of breaking news this morning, wasn't it? That Cumbria is going to remain in Tier 2 and the Bolton game is sold out. So, as we expected, again, sort of Cumbria is going to remain in Tier 2 of the coronavirus restrictions, which means that both United and Barrow will still be able to have fans at games. Across the UK, there's not been a massive amount of change, though, is there? I don't think anything.
No, I think it was more teams going into free.
Yes, I think the London clubs.
Yeah, London and sort of Surrey, Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire, all the surrounding
Essex,
counties.
I think Southend are going to lose fans, aren't they? Which is a shame for them.
Disappointment for them, because they've just won 2 with fans in, haven't they?
Yeah, well, their fans must have enjoyed that, because they haven't had much to shout about for a while. And, you'd have thought they were dead and buried until recently, and you look at them now. They've put themselves right back in contention, haven't they? Yeah. And especially if they made a few signings as well, which makes a difference. And
it'd be nice if a leapfrog Barrow, wouldn't it?
Well, there's a strong possibility the way Barrow are going right now, isn't it? Yeah. And just, as we said it there, the Boxing Day clash with Bolton Wanderers is a sellout again. 2,000 fans are going to be there, so that's great news, isn't it?
Yeah.
They changed the selling for this, didn't they? Probably quite sensibly, I think.
Was it? You know, I mean, surely they could have weeded out potential ones by ringing them up, you know. But
possibly, but
because I do know one or two who've been to the last couple of games who seem to have missed out today, so they'll be a bit gutted.
In one sense, though, I suppose it's good that there's maybe a wider range of people getting the chance to have those 300 tickets, and Yeah, it's one of those ones, isn't it? So someone's going to be unhappy either way.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move straight on then, Dan, to the match review section. So we're looking back at the Mansfield Town game in midweek. So it was Cal United 1, Mansfield 0. We expected it to be a much tougher test than the 4-0 win over Stevenage, and turned out very much to be the case. Mansfield, very resilient side under Clough, don't they? They look massively improved by all accounts, and
you can tell he's made a bit of an impact already. Can't you?
Yeah, you can tell. And to be honest, even if they don't go up this season, I'd put money on them being up there next season. Definitely under his management, they're going to be well drilled.
He's probably been given this season to sort it out, sort of thing. You know,
and if they get a push at the playoffs,
and if a push up, brilliant.
Yeah. But the Beech Boys found a way through to make it 8 wins out of 9. I think I said that at the last podcast. I got it wrong. It was 7 out of 8 at that point. But yes, 8 wins out.
Not like you to get your maths wrong, Lee, is it?
It's just, I can't get over that anyway. Yeah. So move up to second place in the table. So it might not have been as free scoring a game as at the weekend, but once again, dominate in terms of number of shots, weren't we, Dan? It could easily have been 2 or 3 more though, couldn't it?
Just mentioning top of the table there, it was a couple of last-minute goals around us. Newport got a very late equaliser, and was it Bolton scored late on at Cheltenham?
They did, and that's one of the reasons why I think they're probably sensible in trying to make sure Bolton fans didn't get tickets, because there's a video emerged of a couple of Bolton fans celebrating.
Yeah.
So it's a funny one, that one, isn't it?
Funnily enough, speaking of that, Forest Green, I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, they went to general sale for their last home game, and the crowd was only 799, but unfortunately you need a buy-in history. Yeah. So unless anyone out there has for some reason a Forest Green buy-in history, you've got no chance.
I think we've got a couple of fans down that way, you know. I'm sure this guy who was in the London branch who was lived out that way, and we used to go and watch Forest Green quite a lot as well. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've seen a lot of people sort of almost mock them for only getting 799, but they were struggling to get crowds of 2,000 anyways. It's not really that much of a surprise, maybe, because there'll be people who will be isolating as well, who, you know, maybe don't want to go out in public. So it's one of those ones, isn't it? But yeah, Dan, as I said, like, it could have easily been a 2 or 3-0 win, couldn't it, really? Because we had a couple of chances cleared at the last minute too.
Yeah, I thought the first half of the first half, it was quite an open game, you know, a little bit end to end almost, and you know, Mansfield certainly didn't look any pushovers. But I would say the second part of the first half, we gradually got on top.
Step up again, didn't we?
Yeah, and I think we got the goal we deserved for our overall performance in the first half.
Yeah.
Second half, I thought we were the better team. We just didn't convert any chances. You know, disappointing. We had a couple close efforts, but I don't think we were ever in doubt. There wasn't much danger of conceding, I don't think.
No, we looked fairly comfortable, didn't we? I think.
Yeah, it was 1-0, and we deserved 2 or 3, to be honest, for me.
Well, the only shot, we faced a shot on target for the first time in 3 games, I think it was, and that was actually a cross, really, wasn't it? It was a speculative sort of hoof the ball into the box. There's no way that man is claiming. If he'd gone in, it would have been a hell of a goal.
I was in the direct angle. I was in Norwich Road end, right behind it, and I thought he meant it. I definitely thought he meant it, and I'll tell you something, it was blooming close.
Oh, well, it's a great save from Farmer.
It was a brilliant tip,
Shows his agility, doesn't it, as well as, we'll bang on about his kicking again shortly, but, you know, he's shown he's a decent shot stopper as well. So, I mean, that result moves us up to second place in League 2. We're now just 2 points off top spot Newport. They could only manage a draw with Salford City thanks to a late Josh Sheehan penalty, I think it was. And third place Cheltenham suffered a late defeat to Bolton Wanderers. That means we're also 2 points clear of fourth place Forest Green, because they could only manage a draw against Port Vale. And we're now 7 points clear of eighth place Morecambe, just outside the playoffs. Those little gaps just starting to open up, aren't they? And, you know, it's one of those things. I said this before, I don't think we're going to be in a situation like that season under Curl where it all fell apart in January. I don't think we're going to lose a big name player in the same way, and especially George. We'll talk about George Tanner later, but obviously, you know, it doesn't look like he'll be going anywhere in January, which is a positive to take in one sense from a bit of bad news. So it's one of those ones, isn't it? Well, let's get on to some of the talking points then, Dan. First one up here, I think it's my favourite pun I've done for a while, one of these here. No chinks in our armour. So obviously the pre-match news that George Tanner could be out for a while with a shoulder injury picked up in the dying seconds against Stevenage was a big blow, and I think a lot of us looked and thought, Jack Armour coming in. a left back, a young lad making his league debut at right back. Had a few of us a little bit concerned potentially, but he had a bit of a shaky start. But he really picked up, didn't he?
That first sort of 20-25 minutes when it was a really open game, he had a couple of shaky moments, but he settled down into it, and obviously, you know, he put the assist in for the goal. So once that happened, you know, he really took off, and you know, it wasn't a bad full debut for him.
No, certainly, I think he had a cracking little game. We've got to talk about the ball he played into the box for Omari, don't we? I mean, what a hell of a pass that was. He could have just lumped it in, but he could see Omari making that run across, and he put it in exactly the right spot for him to pick it up. We'll talk about Omari in a minute, because I think it's a brilliant goal, and I think it needs a bit more credit than it's getting, to be honest. I just think he really grew into the game, and he looks solid. And I think early on he was up against a winger who's got a bit of pace, wasn't he? And that's always going to, on your debut. I don't think Armour's particularly rapid. I don't think he's slow, but he had a bit of a difficulty up against him, and especially playing on the wrong side. But if we're going to take one positive from it, I'm not sure he's obviously a long-term solution. Maybe if it's a couple of months that Tanner's out for at right back. But what I'd say is, you look at him, you think, well, I've got no worries about him stepping in for Anderton at left back now. You think he looks like he's a solid player there, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's a big lad for a full-back.
He is, yeah.
You know, and I mean, we've mentioned before, we could possibly see him sort of moving across into the middle in time if he keeps growing, you know. But no, we can certainly have no complaints, and it's good to know that we've got another option.
Definitely, it just adds to that strength and depth we're seeing this season in the squad, isn't it? Okay, well, let's move on to Omari's rewards. So, I mean, I don't think anyone could doubt that Omari Patrick's enthusiasm, especially on social media, has been really quite infectious this season, hasn't he? And his work rate on the pitch is earning him a lot of fans, isn't it? The way he gets up and down that flank every game. He's been plugging away the last few games, hasn't he? He's been getting his shots off, especially against Bradford. And he finally got that reward, didn't he? What a touch and finish this was for a goal. I mean, I don't think I've seen many better from us for a while. Well, it was brilliant. What are your thoughts on it, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, what we need to remember with Patrick as well is he's actually a winger.
Yeah,
you know, there's a bit of a misconception that he's an out-and-out striker, and even the lad himself, I think he said on Twitter to you today,
replied to my tweet, because I tweeted a Bradford fan who'd been saying, he's only got 1 in 5 for them. It's like, well, he's not a striker, he's a winger, and he's a good winger. He's causing problems. So.
And I mentioned it elsewhere through the week, he's got a really, not strange, but his running style, you can see why it creates problems. He almost goes side on at times as he's running with it, and that straight away you can see that sort of puts a seed of doubt into his opposing fullback, you know, because yes, he can go outside if need be, but he's also very adept at cutting in as well, you know.
Yeah. And well, he's got like, you can tell he comes from a family of sort of sprinters and athletes, because the way he runs, he is unbelievably rapid, the way he can get away, and it is the one thing he just needs to add to his game, though. It's just a few more goals, and hopefully he'll get a bit of confidence. Because I mean, this wasn't even just a scrappy goal, was it? The ball comes in across, he takes one touch,
he takes it down, spins round, and bang. You know, it's.
I think someone on Twitter was saying it was Bergkamp-esque, wasn't it? Really?
Well, yeah. I've just got Sky Sports News on in the background here as we record, and if that had been scored in the Premier League, it'd be on a loop for the rest of the week.
Yeah, it was a terrific goal. Really, really good goal. I think it's really showing the importance of having a manager who shows confidence in you, because the Bradford fans seem to write him off and they're saying he was a clogger and he was useless, but he doesn't look anything like that for us. You've got a manager there who believes him and tells him, go out there and show him what you can do. And the good thing is as well, he's got a really good understanding with Anderton as well. I think that's really standing out, and he gets back to support him, and Anderton gets up with him. And there was one point on Tuesday night, and Anderton went on this unbelievable run down the left, and that was helped partly by Patrick making a decoy run that took a defender with him. And
speaking of that as well, if you look at the likes of Guy and Riley, they seem to read where both Omari and Josh Coyote on the other side are going to be. You know, and some of the sort of diagonal balls they've played for them have been absolutely top draw recently. Yeah,
definitely.
You know, definitely. I mean, we're giving them the ammunition to create with, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, you look on Tuesday night how excited people got when Gimme Toure come on, but he can't get in the starting 11 at the moment.
Yeah.
He's not got a place in there because, again, Alessandra's been brilliant as a centre forward. He's the one who's making us tick as much. We keep banging on about it, and we will keep banging on about it because he has been brilliant, I think, over the last few games, definitely. Definitely has. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one was raised on the Be Justin Fear Not Facebook group. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly who it was that said it. It's a question about Mellish and reckless Mellish, I think is the way I've put it. So the goals have dried up for him lately, and some people think he might be becoming a bit of a liability in terms of his tackling. And there was a bad one the other night, wasn't there? He was lucky to get a booking for.
We've mentioned about his booking scenario. He's been on 4, and he got the 5th. He actually got the 5th for kicking the ball at the player on the floor on Tuesday night.
You know what? I'm going to stick up for him here. I think that was a really, really harsh decision.
I thought it was.
It came literally about a second after the ref blew the whistle.
But he did it right in front of the ref. That was a problem, and that ref was terrible.
He was we'll talk about that in a sec. I haven't put it as one of the talking ones, but we need to talk about that. If you look at it, he's trying to pass it to whoever. I can't remember who it was out wide, but he's trying to play a really quick pass to someone out wide.
Yeah.
The ref could have easily said, "Look, just calm down," whatever. I think he was unlucky in that he'd been picked up on a couple of bits before that, and that's probably why he's giving the booking. I don't think he's a liability, to be honest. I think that's what he's about. He's a nuisance.
He's a bit all action, isn't he?
He's going to get bookings here and there, and he probably was lucky not to get sent off the other game. I think it was against Salford.
And as we saw with Guy when he had his game out, a week's rest will maybe do him good.
Maybe it might give him a chance to recharge his batteries. And you know he's high energy player. He does a hell of a lot of running.
He's not going to sit on a bus to Nailsworth for 6 hours, is he?
Exactly.
On Friday?
He's basically got a nice 10-day break before we play the Christmas game.
Yeah,
can't really grumble about that. I just think he's a key cog in the midfield. I don't even really look at him as a converted midfielder. He's just a midfielder now. He's a League Two midfielder, yes. He's not. Yeah. He's not like a guy who looks like he could step up at the moment. He just looks like a player who's very effective at this level. He maybe will in the future, but we'll just have to wait and see. No, I don't think he has become reckless. I think that's just part of his game. He's a big physical player. He's going to get bookings. Callum Guy got to the suspension before he did. So at the end of the day, it's just the way it is sometimes. Let's talk about the referee then, Dan, because
I'd rather
going
not.
up there.
I mean, you'll just get a string of expletives.
You know what? Before the game, we did say, he's not really done anything against us previously, so we should be all right there, shouldn't we? How wrong were we? He was awful.
I don't know if his car broke down on the way up or what, or, he just wasn't up for it in any way, shape or form for us, was he?
Some of his decisions were baffling. Some of the pushes and shoves he was giving against us. And I
also think players on both sides at times were like, what's he give that for,
Yeah. I mean, there's one at the end where I was panicking because I thought he was going to give a penalty, I think, when Bennett and their lad went down. I think it was just a coming together, it wasn't it? Anyway. But their play didn't appeal, but I thought the game he's having, he's blatantly going to give this. And it was nice to see Reece Bennett get involved in the melee again, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, bit of a needless booking picked up, though, wasn't it?
Maybe, but he's going to get the odd one of those for doing that. But it's nice to see he's got his teammates' backs, really, and that's the key thing, isn't it? Showing that he's a real team
While we're on about Bennett, it was good to see post-match fuel sponsors of Viceroy catering for his vegan needs with a special curry.
I'm sure he'll be enjoying the trip down to Forest Green this weekend. You never know. But it's one of those ones, and like I said, I just think, I think it's. We're going to get bad referees every now and then, aren't we? But just the last few games, some of them have been dreadful.
I did see a mention that because obviously there's been quite a few promoted to Premier League for VAR reasons.
We're getting some
there's sort of been some poorer ones. Well, some from National League have come into Football League who maybe aren't quite ready.
Yeah.
And are sort of learning on the job.
I think he's been in for a few years, though.
That one has, to be fair. But
the one at the weekend, I think, is only in his second season. We'll talk about it in a minute. We haven't really got much time to talk about much else from this game, unfortunately, everyone. I think Craig Mattinson brought up the issue of Paul Farman's kicks. We've mentioned it before, and we'll discuss it again maybe next week, but it's such an incredible weapon, isn't it? Just the way he gets the ball forward, just out of this world, really, the quality of it. But there you go. I think that's it then, Dan, for the part one. So we'll be back shortly where we'll be looking ahead to the massive pre-Christmas game against Forest Green Rovers as both sides look to cement their ambitions for promotion this season. Okay, welcome back everyone, and we're into part 2 now, where we're going to look ahead to what we've already said is building up to be a huge clash against fellow promotion contenders Forest Green Rovers down in Gloucestershire ahead of for this big game. We're going to do something a little bit different now. You're going to hear a little bit dropped in a minute, some audio. It's about 20 minutes long, but it's a chat I had with a couple of guys from a Forest Green Rovers podcast, but they're a little bit different in that they're based in America. So it's an unusual thing, but they've become big Forest Green Rovers fans, and they're quite funny, quite witty guys, and they make out they're not very knowledgeable. They do know their stuff, and they're pretty switched on in terms of soccer or football, whatever you want to call it. But we had a really good chat with them. I also did a bit on their podcast. I'll post a link on Twitter to that and everything, and you get a chance to listen to it. So what follows is going to be just a nice little bit with me and the guys talking about the game. If you do want to skip this bit, you shouldn't. It's great. It's worth a listen. About 20 minutes on, basically, is, but it's a good chat. We talk about football generally and Forest Green Rovers and look ahead to the game. So enjoy that bit now.
Okay, so we're doing a little preview here for the Forest Green game this weekend, and we're doing something a little bit different to what we've done in previous games. We're going to talk to some opposition fans. But we're not talking to any old opposition fans. These are even different from what we probably normally will do in the future. We're talking to two Forest Green fans who are based in the United States and follow the team from there and do a podcast based in the United States. Quite an unusual one, isn't it? So first up, guys, just tell us a bit about yourselves. You guys from the Heavens Devils podcast, I think it is. So do you want to just tell everyone who you are and basically a little bit of your background?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, I think I speak for Sean when I say I think it would be better to call us less than your ordinary old fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sean and I are a couple of American millennial soccer fans who have been into watching English football, English soccer for several years now. Sean was an Arsenal fan, I was a Fulham fan, and we really got into Forest Green Rovers. We learned about them a few years ago, and we learned about the vegan aspects. We learned about the eco-friendly, anti-climate change aspects, and all the things they're doing with respect to the environment. So both of those things are really important values to Sham and I. So we were thrilled to hear about a club that's promoting those things. And that's kind of what really drew us in. And then ever since we started watching and following, what's really kept us is the community, the people we've met who are associated with the club, the fans, both in Nailsworth, in Gloucestershire, but also all around the world have been awesome. So the community is really what's kept us here. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. We kind of came at it from sort of this political climate change concern for, kind of new ways of doing things, this innovation with Dale Vince and FGR and their pitch and everything. So we were attracted by that, but really it's been the people. And it's been meeting other League Two folks like yourself, Lee, supporters from Carlisle United like yourself, from Port Vale, meeting podcasters on the ground for Forest Green Rovers that have really kept us and hooked us in. So we just love the culture that we're learning about.
What's it been like following FGR the last few years, and particularly this season during the pandemic? It was obviously very different for everybody, really, isn't it? You guys are watching from much further afar.
Yeah, well, I guess the pandemic actually is also part of what created this podcast as well. Sham and I had a lot of extra time on our hands because of the pandemic. And so, yeah, I think without the pandemic, we would have never started this podcast. But it's been a blast to follow from the U.S. Sham and I have never been to Nailsworth. Actually, we've never been to the UK even. So we've never been to a match. We've never been to the new lawn. We're going to. It's definitely going to happen as soon as the world gets back to normal. But it's been a blast. We buy the streams, and we actually bought a season pass on Forest Green Rovers website. So we bought a season pass. We get together every Saturday. We try to get together every Tuesday as well. We don't always make all the Tuesdays, but we do try to get together every Saturday. We just drink some beers, watch the match, talk about it, have fun. And we try to recruit other Americans to join us on this journey. We're trying to build the Green Army.
That's what you got to do. Yeah. It's strange because for us in the UK, the I Follow thing, it obviously started a few years ago, but we were only ever allowed to watch the Tuesday, the midweek games were the only ones that you could watch in the UK on the stream, because they didn't want to discourage fans from going to the games, basically. They wanted to make sure as many fans went to the matches as possible. So we sort of were slightly used to it, but it's still weird watching on a weekend now on a Saturday. Instead of Saturday for me, normally, living in Liverpool, I'm up at. My missus was saying the other day, says, I've never seen you more active than on a match day. Any other day, you'll not get out of your bed early. But on a match day, you're up. You've done the dishes. You've done all the washing and everything. You're ready to go dead on the time you need to go for your train. She's always amazed by it. So I always end up getting up I get a train about 9:30 from Liverpool to Wigan, and then Wigan up to Carlisle. I'm in Carlisle by midday. I have some food with one of my mates and a few drinks, and I go to another pub, one of the Brewdog pubs in Carlisle, have a few drinks with my mate there. We either walk down to the game, watch the match. Afterwards, I go back, and the train's off for another hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I'll have a couple more drinks, get the train back. I'm back by 9 o'clock. Probably passed out because I can't handle drinking the same way I used to be able to. I'm too tired by the time I get home. So that's usually my day. Now on a Saturday, it's literally 2:45. Set my computer up, connect it to the TV, watch the game, and it's done by 5 o'clock. It is a weird experience, but for you guys, it probably is more of an experience than it is for us. And you, like I said, you guys get together, and you have a few beers, and you watch the game. So it sounds very sort of different to us, but it's similar in many ways as well. So, but you must be really enjoying how they're playing this season, I guess.
Yeah, we love it. We're very bullish on their chances of promotion. Of course, you guys are ahead of us in the table currently as of this recording. You're number 3, we're number 4.
That's something that American fans like us, we're like, wait, what? We just won. We were in 3rd place. We won, and now we dropped down to 4th.
You're playing against Stevenage, I think. Yeah.
But I just think the pandemic actually end up reducing the barrier for us, the barrier to entry, because we may think like, oh, it's so esoteric. Look at the small club, League Two. How do we get in there? But it kind of, with fans not allowed at the new lawn, everyone's sort of in the same boat. You have to watch on iFollow. Yeah. So for us, I don't know, it kind of lowered this mental hurdle of, hey, we're supporters now, just like anyone else, and it's helped us to kind of dive headfirst into League Two and Forest Green Rovers.
Yeah, but going back to the question, Lee, we're having a blast because this is we've started this podcast at the perfect time. Forest Green Rovers are flying. They're getting results. They're number 1 in the expected goals table. So no, we're very fortunate right now. We like I said, we started this podcast at a good time. The team is creating chances. The games are exciting. I mean, we're not winning by a lot of goals, but we're winning. We're getting the results, so we're keeping them tight, which makes it exciting for us. But at the end of the day, we're getting the results we need to get, especially on the road. I don't know if this changed after this past match, but before the past match, we had the most points of any team in League Two on the road. It's been a blast to watch this club and follow along this season, and hopefully we can continue pushing for promotion.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's not the biggest club, is it, Forest Green, as you've touched on a few times there, but they've got quite big ambitions, or the owner, Dale Vince's got some very big ambitions. And one thing that is particularly caught my eye, and I know Dan, who does the podcast with me, we both say it's one of the most impressive and different looking new stadium plans you'll ever see, because in this country, fans have a real bugbear about football grounds. What the diehards every week, they love grounds that are basically falling to bits half the time. They like a bit of character to their grounds. And a lot of modern grounds you see now, let me give you an example. Teams like Scunthorpe or even Chesterfield, that used to be in the league, and things like that, they all look the same. They're all basically like a biscuit tin or a shoebox, as people describe them. Whereas what Forest Green are looking to do with their new ground, it looks so impressive. And that must be quite exciting to see a club that's got these ambitions to, obviously, they're moving away from Nailsworth, but they're thinking bigger. They want to be a different club, and they want to do something exciting instead of the box standard, here's your 4 stands, and that'll do, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us, we are, obviously we're Americans. We have not grown up with Forest Green Rovers. We're relatively new to the club. So for us, the move is exciting, but I know there are fans who are local who are not so thrilled about the move. They think Forest Green should stay, and Forest Green should stay on Nailsworth, and I totally get that. The stadium that they're in now is actually not that old either. I think it's actually, let me not say an incorrect fact. I don't remember how old it is, but it's not that.
It's not, because when Carlisle played them in the conference, they were at a different ground. It was the old lawn. So that was only 15 years ago. So it's not that old, like you say.
Yeah, I want to say it's maybe 10 years old, but that might be wrong. But anyway, my point is, like, Sean and I, as outsiders, we're thrilled about the new ground. Also, we love all the eco stuff about it. We love the new technology that's going to go into it. We love that it helps with Dale Vince's ambitions to get the club to the championship. But of course, we do have the fear that is it going to cause the lifelong fans? Are they going to feel like the club's losing a little bit of its identity, moving away from Nailsworth? That's something that's we're conscious of, and we totally understand that perspective. But yeah, for us as outsiders, we're thrilled. We're thrilled with it.
So so you talk about how well Forest Green are doing this season, but who are the star men? Who are the men we need to be watching out for? I mean, I know a few of you players like Jamil Matts and Carl Winchesters, but who's the players, the star men, and the people we might not know about particularly?
Well, yeah, sure. So, I don't know if you guys have heard of Odin Bailey, the Birmingham boy. He's on loan from Birmingham. He'll definitely be with us on Saturday when we play you. We're a little worried, though, he's not going to be with us the rest of the year because his loan ends in January, and we're really hoping they can extend that because he has been brilliant. He is a masterful creator. You can clearly see the championship level anytime he's around the ball. Yeah. So he's phenomenal. Nicky Cadden has been outstanding. Aaron Collins has created a lot of chances for us as well. What do you think,
Liam Kitching has been a great defender. Yeah, there's a bit
Kitching
of a rumor.
Another one. Yeah, go ahead.
He might leave. There's a bit of a rumor because he wasn't selected in our last match, and he wasn't injured or anything. So there's rumors that he
may go to Barnsley. Yeah, he's a phenomenal player though, Kitching. So I think we're all worried that we're going to lose him, but I think we were all hoping that wouldn't come until the end of the season. But maybe if these rumors are to be believed, it's going to come a little bit sooner. But yeah, Kitching is phenomenal, but we don't know if you're going to see him on Saturday because if these rumors are true, they're probably going to, keep him out so he doesn't get injured.
That's one of those things with teams at our level. You can't keep older players if a big club comes in for them. We've had a few years ago, there's a lad who's now playing at Sunderland called Charlie Wyke. He was scoring for fun for us in the first half of the season, but he had a release clause in his contract that meant if a club came in with a bid of £250,000, then he was allowed to talk to that club and could go if he wanted to. Unfortunately, I think it was Bradford came in offered £250,000, and he was off. Bradford were at the level above us then, and obviously now look at them. So he's gone to Sunderland since then. He's done pretty well for himself, to be fair. But it just shows you at our level, if a player does half decent, the days of keeping older players for a long period, unfortunately, are very much long gone. Teams like us. I suppose to ask you as well, because we letting everyone in a little bit of insight here. We recorded a bit for your podcast as well, and I'll give that a plug at the end, obviously. But in that, we talked a bit about Carlisle United. I talked a lot about Carlisle United, probably too much. So, bearing that in mind, what do you know about Carlisle United now? What's your knowledge of the club?
All right, I'll go. So, we know that you don't get any sunlight in the winter. We know that you are... You're pretty close to Norway up there. You can see the northern lights from where you guys are. We assume you can see the glaciers melting all the way up there. But no, we know that it's a club in the north. We know it's in Cumbria. We know that there's not a lot of other clubs around it, so you kind of have a monopoly on the fan base there, which is really nice. We know from talking to our own supporters, Forest Green Rovers supporters, that for them, it's a long drive to go to an away day.
Long coach ride. Yeah,
very long coach ride. What else, Sean? We know your nickname is not the Dragons or the exactly.
Yeah, you're the Blues. You're the
Blues, or the Cumbrians, or some people know the Red Foxes.
Red Foxes, but that's not really one Carlisle fans use themselves.
Actually, we learned that we're brethren in sheep because we had joked earlier about the sheep population in the Cotswolds and Gloucestershire, where Forest Green Rovers is. But you also educated us that there are a ton of sheep up in Cumbria, and so you often get associated with the sheep. Inflatable sheep have been brandished at your matches.
Yes, many times.
Actually, what I would say, it seems like Carlisle United fans like to have a good time, like a bit of cheek.
Well, the thing is, as well, we're a kind of club as well that because we're so isolated and because it's a small it's very much a rural community, most of it. People who live in Carlisle tend to move away from Cumbria. They don't tend to stay. They younger people, particularly now. You have to move away from work. Where I come from, West Cumbria, the biggest employer other than the local councils is the nuclear power plant, Sellafield. basically both my brothers work there, and anyone who basically does fairly well at school and stays there generally ends up working at Sellafield. Basically, it's well-paid jobs for a start, because it's a nuclear power plant, obviously. But yeah, people tend to move away from the county. I've moved away. I live in Liverpool now. We have a London sports branch that's got 300 members, I think it is. So when we go down to London, you think, oh, it's a long way. We're not going to take many away from it. We actually generally get at least 500 or 600 for a lot of the London games. And for games in the Northwest, we can take big like 1,000, 2,000 fan followings, basically.
Yeah, it's so cool that you have that portable fan base, like you said, by the nature of economics, people moving to bigger cities, they're spread across the country. But it's so cool that you guys can unite around the club, wherever.
Yeah. When people move away, that's their connection to home, Carl United, for a lot of people. I know a lot of people in school who, I would never say we were big Carl United fans in school, they weren't really interested. But now, when I go to like an away game down south, I'll bump into them and say, what are you doing? Oh, I've come to the Carl game. I never really thought you'd Carl fan, but you go to the games, they're brilliant. Whereas you get, like I said, like teams like Leighton Orient in London, or I don't know, any clubs down there, or Crawley are not going to bring a big following to Carlisle, because there's not many people moving away from Crawley for a job in Cumbria or the North East or anything like that. There just isn't. Sure. So it's quite different in that sense. But yeah, it's been great talking about it. Let's get it down to the final point. Predictions for the game. How do you reckon it's going to go?
Ooh. You want to go ahead, Nathan?
Well, so we typically we haven't done it yet. We have a Python machine learning algorithm, a little code that we take all the data from the matches and we upload it, and then it just spits out a prediction for us. And it's usually pretty accurate. I haven't done this yet, though. I always make my predictions based off of that. So since I haven't done it, I guess I got to go with the old noggin here, which is not a very reliable source. So we just came off. We're just coming off of our best performance of the season against Cambridge. We absolutely dominated that game, feeling really good. Before that, we've had a tendency to either play up or play down to our competition, and the games have been really tight. I think this game's going to be tight too. We struggle to keep clean sheets against we always make some silly mistake, so we're not going to keep a clean sheet. You guys have excellent expected goals as well, so I think you're going to score. I'm going to go 2-1 to the good, 2-1 to Forest Green Rovers.
Okay.
Yeah, we're eternal American optimists, so we're always putting Forest Green Rovers as the winning club. But after our conversation, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say we have never predicted anything but a win. I don't think we ever will. We could be playing Man City, we could be playing Liverpool. We're going to say 1-0 to the 1-0 Forest Green. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah. So we try to continue that streak. Part of it comes from our vast ignorance, but man, after our discussion earlier, Lee, we're really salivating for the game. We think it's going to be well contested, like Nathan was saying. We played to the level of our competition. We played Newport County at the top of League 2 recently, and that was a great match. So we're looking forward to it. You guys have competencies and excel in areas that are really weak for us, like long throws. And we do make defensive mistakes. So I do think we're going to let goals in, but we got to keep our unfounded American optimism going. So I'm going to say the goals will go in. It'll be a 3-2 Forest Green Rovers win.
Spicy. I'm going to add one more prediction on that. The goal that we're going to concede there's definitely going to be a goal conceded off a long throw. You guys are good at that. We are probably the worst in the league at that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. One of my co-hosts, Dan, who I'm not sure if he'll be the one on this recording, but we'll see when he comes out. But he almost always seems to predict a 1-1 draw at the moment, and I'm going to go with his prediction for this one. Obviously I'll be on in a minute with him on the normal episode, but yeah, I'd go for a 1-1 draw, and I think it'll be. I should have probably told you this stat before you started there, though. Carlisle have never lost at Forest Green. I think we've won. Wow. I think we've only drawn once, and I think we've won all the others. Forest Green's record against us is not great, to put it bluntly. So yeah, so I should have told you that first.
No, it's okay. We're ignorant. We're idiots. We always predict the win no matter what. So take our predictions with a grain of salt.
But we're still going to spend this for ourselves and how great we are. We know that Chris Beech and Mark Cooper are avid listeners to both the podcasts. So they're going to learn from all of our tactical talk, and it will be a 1-1 draw.
Guys, thank you for joining us. It's really appreciated. Good luck for the rest of the season. Not this weekend. I can't wish any luck for that, but good luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully, come next May, it'll be Carlisle and Forest Green celebrating promotion to League One. We're playing against each other for next season. And if we do, you'll have to get yourselves over to England and we'll go to the game together.
Amen. Yes.
Love that idea. Love that idea. And thank you so much, Lee, for having us. It's been our pleasure.
No
thanks you very much, Lee.
Okay, well, thanks once again to the guys from the Heavens Devils Forest Green Rovers podcast for giving up their time to speak to us. We also did, as I said before, a bit for their podcast. You can check that out too. So it's Heavens Devils. If you look it up, it's on Spotify, I think Apple Podcasts and a few others. Give it a listen there. And they managed to chop down my bit I did with them quite a lot because I've rambled on for ages. There was a big section that talks about the Jimmy Glasgow and Bill Shankly and a few other bits and Ivor Brodis, and that didn't make it. It was that long and that rambling, but there you go. Okay, Dan, so then let's look ahead to the game ourselves now. So obviously playing this weekend at Forest Green. Referee is Alan Young for this game, and last time he refereed United game was 2-0 defeat to Plymouth last season. That's the only time he's previously refereed us, and that was Jared Branthwaite's debut for the club, funny enough.
I'm guessing he's Southern-based then.
He's very much a look Southern-based by the time. I think he was National League South referee not that long ago, maybe.
Right.
Be interesting to see how he copes with this game anyway. Let's go on to the Forest Green history and facts. So we're not going to do as many as I did for the Mansfield one. You'll be pleased to hear. I went on a bit too much there, didn't I? So Forest Green Rovers were formed in October 1889 by the local nonconformist church minister. There's a lot of church-related...
I was just about to say, there's a lot of church-related matters here, isn't there?
Yeah, the last couple of ones. They were founder members of the Mid-Gloucestershire League, the first league in the county outside of Bristol.
Sounds rebellious.
Yeah, spent much of their existence playing at county league level until they joined the Hellenic League in 1975. There's a blast from the past, isn't there? Did the Hellenic League exist in the 90s as well? I can't remember. I'm sure
possibly,
I've heard the name. Yeah. It probably exists now. It probably just got a different name, I'd imagine. It might be the Isthmian League or maybe the middling one, I don't know. But after winning promotion, they spent a lot of time in the Southern Leagues before earning a place in the conference in 1998. And they were one of the longest serving clubs in the National League up until their promotion to the Football League via the playoffs in 2017, causing a bit of a shock, didn't they, by beating Tranmere Rovers 3-1 in the final. I remember this one because Tranmere Rovers, the team everyone expected to go up, and they got quite comfortably beat by Forest Green, didn't they, in that game?
Yeah, from Liam Noble played, didn't he?
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that. And I think that there were more than worthy winners that day.
Yeah, definitely. So they currently play at the New Lawn, having previously spent much of their history at The Lawn, which is their previous ground, until they moved to the current stadium in 2006. The stadium is in the town of Nailsworth, which is a population of just under 6,000, smallest in the Football League, with the nearest railway station, I think it's about 6 miles away in Stroud or something like that. So basically, think of Wigton having a Football League team, but without a railway station. Basically. Well, Carlisle basically would be your nearest station, essentially. It's quite incredible to think of that, isn't it? In fact, Brampton might be a better comparison, actually. Brampton without a station.
Yeah, Brampton station's about a mile and a half outside the town, isn't it?
Just as bad anyway, is it? So despite only being in the ground for 14 years, the club has got really ambitious plans, haven't they, Dan, to move to a new eco-friendly wooden stadium near to the M5 motorway. I think it's part of a wider £100 million development by the club's owner, Dale Vince, who owns Ecotricity, which is a green sort of electricity company.
I think the shirt sponsors as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's worth having a Google of these stadium plans because
they look great, don't they? They're really impressive.
It's impressive and different, big time.
It's not the usual shoebox, is it?
Was it going to be all made from wood? I think
it was good. I think the stadium itself is going to be
sustainable wood or something.
And a lot of people say, "Oh, what about the Bradford Fire wood?" It's different these days. It's not like ones that are just going to, burn down easily. The way it'll work will be very different. But, it's good to see a club doing something different. And I think the whole idea is that they'd appeal to a wider sort of fan base, wouldn't they? I think being based on the M5. I think they look at the wider Gloucestershire area rather than just Nailsworth. But there is the guys on the Heavens Devil podcast did say to me that there's a bit of resistance in Nailsworth and Stroud to that. They don't want them to be moving too far away. They feel like the club should be part of the community still. Yeah. But I think they've got plans to sort of still have good links in the community. So yeah, Vince isn't the only eco-minded investor of the club, though. Arsenal defender Hector Bellerin has invested into the club to become a shareholder as well.
Yeah, and we're claiming him for celebrity fan as well.
Yeah, I think that's literally the only celebrity fan we could find. They're a small club, to say the least. And
yeah.
You could argue their owner, Dale Vince, is a bit of a celebrity as well, and so he maybe is a celebrity fan, you could say. Head-to-head record, we've got a pretty good record against them. Not played them that many times, have we? Played them 10 times. We've won 5. 3 games have been draws and 2 games have been defeats. We've never lost at Forest Green, though, of both the lawn and the new lawn, haven't we? We've won on every occasion we've been. Yeah. Oh, not won. We haven't lost on any occasion we've been there. The 2 defeats we've had against them have been quite far apart. When we lost against them in the conferences. In fact, do you know who scored the goal that day for Forest Green when they beat us in the conference?
I'm going to say Carl Higgs.
Damon Searle.
Oh, just from going from the names at the top there.
Yeah, Damon Searle was the one who scored the goal that day. We've got a pretty decent record against them. So, it's one of those games we're going to. We should hopefully have a bit of confidence, maybe. You never know.
Heads to Bet365 to check odds on the home win.
Exactly that. Last time we met, so United put on probably one of their best performances last season. Not much competition there, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
Forest Green, as they ran out 4-1 winners. Nathan Thomas grabbed his first career hat-trick and Josh Coyote scored the other goal. I remember, was it Thomas's first goal in that game? Was an unbelievable hit. He was outside of his boot, wasn't he? And just pinged it in the top corner.
One of those games where everything happened for him, wasn't it? And
one of those games which annoyingly doesn't have as often as he should do, really, for the players' quality. But there you go. Okay, well, let's look at sort of present-day Forest Green. They've had a difficult first season in the league in 2017-18. I think they finished 21st, didn't they? I don't think they were ever really in danger of going down, but I think they had a bit of a struggle. But since then, they've been pretty consistent the last 2 seasons in pushing for promotion to League One. This season, they've started pretty well again, haven't they? I think they invested quite well in the summer in getting players in key positions where they were a bit weak to improve the squad, and they've basically reaping the benefits of that, and as a result they currently find themselves in 4th place in division on 33 points with a record of played 18, won 9, drawn 6, lost 3, 24 goals against 15 and a goal difference of +9. Only Newport and Walsall have got a record of defeats as good as theirs, which is 3, and only Salford have got a better defence and they've only conceded 1 goal less with 14 goals. I mean, our defence is not far off theirs either, but it just shows it could be quite a tight game at the weekend, couldn't it?
It's one of those that'll either be really tight or it'll be really open and end up 4-3 or something.
Well, the Heavens Devil guys did point out that their big weakness apparently is long throws. They struggle with that, and that's actually one point we didn't mention in the Mansfield game. It wasn't until the 47th minute that we had our first long throw of the game on Tuesday night. I think we only had about 3 more after that, maybe.
Yeah,
Mansfield clearly did their homework, didn't they? Their players they kept it in quite well, actually, quite a lot. So they clearly realised that was a strength of ours. And you wonder if Forest Green might do the same at the weekend. Although it's a smaller pitch, isn't it? I think at the lawns, the new lawn, so we might take advantage of that. Maybe, you never know. Last time out, they battled back from behind to pick up a 1-1 draw at Port Vale, and the last home fixture saw them beat Cambridge 2-0, as you mentioned previously, in front of 799 supporters. Manager Mark Cooper. So he's a gaffer with plenty of experience, hasn't he? I think mostly at non-league level he's managed, hasn't he? But he had spells at Peterborough and I think Notts County and who was the other team? I can't remember.
He's been around enough on the circuit, hasn't he? He'll know his way about.
Swindon was the other club, and Darlington obviously had a spell there, I think, towards the end of their time in the league. So yeah, he's definitely done the circuit. I think he did a really good job at Tamworth and Kettering back in the day. He was Tamworth manager that day we went there. I think it was 15 years since that game, wasn't it? Quite recently, where we lost 1-0, and
it was Redmile scored.
Yeah, Redmile scored. Just a dreadful day out that was. I remember that much. But yeah, he's done a pretty decent job. He's been there for 4 years. He got them promoted into the league, and I think they've stuck by him even through some pretty difficult spells. I think last season they had a bit of a difficult run as well, and they've basically said to him, we're going to stand by you and give you a chance to show what you can do. And fair play, he's done a decent job there, and I think the thing he wants now is that last step, doesn't he, to get promotion to League One. That's his big challenge. In terms of the squad, not too dissimilar to United, are they really? In terms of they've got a lot of talented youngsters in there and some wildly experienced campaigners, so throwing in for good measure. I've picked out some key men. I think Liam Kitchen's one that has been mentioned, but he's missed the last couple of games. There's rumours that he's set to move to Barnsley, and they might be keeping him sort of fresh. As a result, don't want to get him injured to ruin that move potentially. The captain, Chris Stokes, has been around for years. In midfield, Scott Wagstaff and Carl Winchester stand out, don't they? Good experience, Football League campaigners. Solid pros. And up front, I mean, Jamal Matt is going to score goals at this level all the time, isn't he? And I think the one that the guys on the pod again picked out, Odin Bailey, on loan from Birmingham City, really impressive.
That's a lovely first name, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah, they call him the Norse god, don't they?
I was just about to say it's very Loki and
Thor
Loki and Marvel related.
Yeah, indeed it is. But yeah, apparently he's the big star man for them. He's been really impressive, and they are worried that they're going to lose him. The way we lost Jerry Yates a couple of years ago. Yeah. He'll go back to Birmingham, potentially maybe got to a League One club, possibly even back to play for Birmingham. You never know. Okay, United team news. Let's quickly bash through this one, Dan. As you mentioned previously, John Mellish is going to miss out due to suspension. George Tanner looks set to be out for a while, and Danny Devine looks a doubt as well. He's got a knee injury picked up that Chris Beech didn't even know about when he subbed him against Stevenage, did he? It's got a strange one, that one. So we're just waiting to hear from the specialist today, and we'll find out that I suspect he probably won't be involved this weekend. I think they'll probably just rest him with it being a long journey, particularly. And other than that, Rod McDonald still closing on his return, as are Walker and Dickinson. I think Dickinson unlucky that he hasn't got that chance to play that game, did he? I think he might have been possibly on the bench for the reserves for that game. So
yeah,
bit of a shame.
Be interesting to see if any of them appear next week if that happens.
Possibly. Not got any Forest Green team news, so let's get straight into the predictions. Dan, what are you going to go for this one?
Well, I'm going to have to go for 4-3, having already mentioned it. And a humdinger pre-Christmas with goals for Patrick, Coyote, Alessandra, and Farman's gone a welly one in.
Oh wow! Now that's
I'm going sod it. Yeah.
How much of the pre-Christmas brandy have you been having? Yeah, I thought you were going to go for your traditional 1-1 there, because that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for the 1-1, and I think Omari Patrick's going to get his second in 2 games. That's what I'm going to go for. Nice tight one. Maybe we might nick a 2-1. Maybe Alessandra get a penalty. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Okay, well, straight on to the X-Files, Dan. Not much to report this week, is there?
Not very much at all, but in the last episode, having mentioned about Reece James scoring a rare goal, he then scored 2 on Tuesday night. So cheers, Reece James, on the very off chance you listen to this. And I haven't got it to hand. I can't think who. There wasn't many midweek. Jerry Yates scored for Blackpool, I think, was it?
It's him on Medine scoring, isn't it?
Yeah, it was Yates just before half time for Blackpool, but there wasn't too much happening. No. Ex-players midweek.
Quiet week, so there you go. We'll update again next week, obviously, when hopefully it's going to be a couple of us on the episode, aren't we? Hoping to get all 3 of us on to have a pre-Christmas chat. So thanks once again, Dan, for joining me. Really appreciate it. If you've got any comments or feedback or anything you'd like to suggest we discuss, please send them in via Twitter to @BruntonBugle or by email to bruntonbugle@gmail.com. And as we always mention this, you can subscribe to the podcast on any good podcast app. Search for Brunton Bugle, it will come up. You may notice actually as well when this podcast goes out today, we've got a new logo. Thanks to Ross McFaysden. I think that's his name. Sorry, I've pronounced that wrong. Ross,
I would say McFadzine.
McFadzine, that's probably the one, yes. It's one of those ones where you think to yourself, probably should have asked him beforehand, really, shouldn't I? That would have been a good idea. Prepare, as usual.
We don't prepare.
No, indeed that. So yeah, it's a Rock McFadzine, sorry, yes, I've just looked up again there. He's a graphic designer and he's helped us out for free. Absolute top guy for doing this favour for us, giving us a new logo, a little bit more of a professional look. We've got a special logo as well for the specials that we'll be revealing once we get one of those out. Keep mentioning it, but there you go. If you want to get any good graphic design work, go to his website, ramstudios.co.uk, and he'll sort you out. You'll have to pay. You get it for free. We're giving him a plug here. So he doesn't hand out freebies for no one. He's a listener. And thanks, Ross. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, really, very, very good of you.
Really good of you. Before you have to go, Dan, because I know you have to dash, let's have a quick look at the map. I don't think there's anywhere new on it. Let's have a quick look. No, it's all the same. Brunei listener's got his 3rd listening though, so you know, and no one else in Bahrain recently, so I'm guessing that probably was F1 related. Looking at it, but yeah, just the usual spots. So come on, spread the pod. Give Christmas cheer to everyone. Get it out there, and we'll hopefully get some new countries to add on. And if you're a United fan living somewhere across the world, drop us an email, and we'll give you a shout out. We'll give you an actual we'll name you. We'll shout you out on the podcast. Say you're our listener
if you
in
want
X country.
Name. If you want name, that is.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, there you go. But if you want to get us to give you a shout out, drop us an email to bruntonbugle@gmail.com and we will give you a shout out. We'll give you a little pre-Christmas message. Wish you all the best for the new year and all that. So yeah, as I said there, Dan, we're going to be back next week.
You do realise we've set ourselves up for several, shall we say, dodgy messages here.
I'm good at filtering these. I'm not. You're not going to get any of your murderers being read out as people listening to the podcast on here. My missus listens to too many murder podcasts for me to not know who all the main serial killers across the world are. Not a chance. I'll be doing my Googling before I put any of those out. I can tell you that much. Yeah, we're going to be back next week. We're going to do a little special double preview episode, aren't we, for the Harrogate and the Bolton games. And hopefully we're going to get both you and Mike on the episode, I think, Dan. And we're going to... I'm hoping to get a chat with a couple of Bolton fans as well. Actually, we'll maybe drop that one in as a part of the preview. And we're going to look at some of the contract situation, aren't we, and work out, who we think maybe we should be looking to get signed up as soon as possible on a longer deal. After what you say,
most of them, I would say.
Most of them, indeed. All right, Dan. Thanks for joining me as usual. Thanks everyone for listening, and as usual, up the Blues.
Up the Blues.